Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video where I am going to be talking about Tod Cutler's brand new Type H, Petersen Type H Viking sword. So right off the bat, everything about this is beautiful. You can see that lovely work on the scabbard. You can see the really clean stitching there. And you can see with the belt attachments, we got a really great design. Everything about it is beautiful. Not just the brass designs on it, but that embossing you have on both the belt and on the scabbard. And of course, we got that really lovely brass shape on the bottom. Love that accent. And the blade itself, we will get to that in a few minutes. But just to talk a little bit about that scabbard first. So first off, we talked about how beautiful it is. It is, without a doubt, one of the most beautiful scabbards that I own. It is a lightweight scabbard, which is nice, and the leather is good quality. You can get it in a handful of different colors. I got mine in green. As you can see, green is one of my two favorite colors, and with a lot of the stuff that I use all my swords for, quite a bit of it is themed around green. So yeah, it's great. In addition to that, it also came with a belt that is the same design as the belt or baldric setup for this. Now, another thing that I really like about the belt system with this is it does not come with any pre-punch holes in it. So you can put the holes wherever you need them for your size. I haven't really seen a lot of belts sold like that, and the plain belt that they sent me, also green, is the same exact teal, and I think that's fantastic because a lot of times when I'm buying sword belts or swords that have belt setups, or just a regular ears period style belts, the holes in them are way too big for me, and I have to punch my own holes, and then I end up with a million holes in that belt, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world. But with this, where I can punch my own holes, I think that is a fantastic design choice. I'm not gonna lie. Now, there are two things that I am going to get nitpicky about with the scabbard, because Tod Cutler is such a esteemed craftsman. I'm gonna get a little bit nitpicky about a couple of things. First off, this is a longsword hanging system for the scabbard. Viking swords and other early middle-aged swords were worn more or less straight up and down, maybe at a little bit of an angle, if that's what the not holding them in place was, but they were not held almost horizontally like this. This was very much something that came with long swords when the swords became too long to stay straight up and down. In addition to that, it is a very, very tight fit. If you want to get your sword into it, usually you need to brace that scabbard against something to get it that last quarter inch in, because it's gonna stick. See, I can only get in there holding on to it. We gotta brace it. So it's a little bit tight of a scabbard. I do like my scabbards to have a little bit of resistance, but that's a bit much. So now on to the blade. The blade is amazing. It is easily one of my favorite swords that I own, and I am thrilled with this purchase. It is your archetypal Petersen Type H Viking sword. Everything about it is screaming historical accuracy, which is always fantastic for me to see. My Viking build that I do, every time I change something about it, it's always striving to make it as close to historically authentic as possible, as close to reenactment levels as possible. So we'll start at the bottom. So starting off, that hilt is amazing. The grip is not dyed the same color as the scabbard belts, which I am totally fine with. I don't mind that brown dye on it. And we got that nice texturing there. We got those two risers. Love it. It's a really good size grip too. With those Viking swords, you want it to be tight in your hand. You're holding it with that hammer grip. You don't want too much extra space in there. Now there's a little tiny bit of space there, but that's pretty much just so that if somebody had slightly larger hands than me, they'd be able to get their hand in there. But even for me, it's a pretty claustrophobic grip compared to other one-handed swords that I own, which is fantastic. That's exactly what you want. Now, looking at the actual bottom, that pummel and that pummel cap. The pummel cap is riveted in place with those nice bronze, I think, rivets. That's what you want. Though those pummel caps were not a solid part of the pummel. They were a cap that was riveted in place. And right on the divide line, we have that lovely brass, I think it's bronze, wire, twisted wire. It's gorgeous. Now that cross guard is the right size. It is the right size. So many of these Petersen type H blades that you see, and other Viking swords that were fairly similar in their design, have cross guards that go out too far, that go out significantly past where the pummel does. And you don't want that. You want the cross guard to be about the same as the pummel. Now it's a little bit wider, but you have to really, really look at it to see that. It's maybe a quarter inch at most, probably less than that. Now, the reason that you want that crossguard and that pummel to be the same size is because when you're a Viking and you got your shield, it is held with one hand in the middle. So if somebody knocks aside of that shield, it's gonna move. When you got a sword like this, you got the crossguard and the pummel that are the same size, where you're not needing to angle anything weirdly. You can use that to help steady your shield. Keep it in place. Keep one solid hit from going right through that shield and hitting the guy next to you. That is what you want. So let's move on to the blade itself. This blade is made out of EN45, so it is not the fanciest steel in the world, but it is a perfectly good quality steel. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. It is 30.5 inches, so it is on the longer side for your Petersen type H sword, Viking swords, but it is not excessively long. You are going to find ones that are even a few inches longer than that, but you're also going to find ones that are shorter than that. That's just a fact of the matter. It's a little on the longer end, but still within the normal. And the blade is 2 pounds and 5 ounces, so it is light. Now, being a Viking sword, of course, the balance point is pretty far towards the tip. That's maybe 7-ish inches from the pummel. But again, that's what you get with a Viking sword. They were front heavy. They were hackers. They were not super nimble, agile swords that you would find in the late Middle Ages and in the Renaissance. They were front heavy. But at 2 pounds, 5 ounces, this thing is still light enough that even though it is front heavy, it's got a nice recovery that's not going to kill your arm or tire you out too much. It's a really, really well-designed sword. Now that really typical blade shape where it very, very, very slightly tapers until you get to that nice, almost rounded point. Perfect for swords from that era. Exactly what you want to be seeing, with the fuller going almost all the way up to the tip. This is a very, very well-designed sword that is clearly very well researched. And that is what I like to be seeing, especially when you start looking at swords that cost as much as this one does. Now, it is brand new from Tod Cutler, so I haven't seen it on any of the other sites that sometimes stock his blades. For instance, it's not on Cult of Athena. I don't know if it will be or not. I haven't talked to them about it. But right now, the only place that you can get this is from Tod Cutler's website. On there, he does ship to the U.S., obviously, as any of you who do not know me can tell from my very clearly American accent. Shipping costs from the UK, where he is based, are not cheap. The shipping cost was almost twice the cost, almost half the cost, rather, of the sword itself. But you know what? It was my birthday present to myself, so I'm going to treat myself. I just turned 30. So yeah, this thing, if you're looking at American dollars, runs for, I think it was about 640. And in pounds, in the native currency, that's about 580 pounds, give or take. Now this is unsharpened. I can run my hand up and down the blade and not worry about slicing my hand open. If I'm not mistaken, it did come with an option to sharpen it for an added cost, but I am not someone who is using my blade for practical purposes. This is something that I've talked about quite a bit on my channel. For any of you who have watched any of my previous videos, I am not someone who is using my swords to do cutting tests with, hack and slash at things, poke at things, anything like that. So I did not feel the need to have that added cost for sharpening. A perfectly blunt blade serves all of my purposes: photographs, cosplay, having a really cool sword collection, all that jazz. Now, seeing as I strive for historical authenticity with my Viking design, I am most likely going to remove the belt rigging that comes attached to the sword, so that I can probably use the belt that it came with or another belt of mine to tie it onto either a baldric or a belt with that proper up and down design. As beautiful as the pieces for that are, is not historically authentic to have it hanging that longsword rigging system. Now, is this a sword that I would recommend for people who do the things with swords that I do? Absolutely. If you feel like treating yourself to something that is more expensive than a windlass or a cold steel or a Dipika, absolutely get this one. If the total cost, including the shipping, concerns you, wait to see if it's going to be available somewhere here in the U.S., like Cult of Athena. If you are in Europe, Great Britain, anything like that, the shipping is not going to be an issue. So it's going to cost considerably less for you. Or if you don't mind those higher shipping costs, you want to treat yourself to something nice, like on your 30th birthday, definitely one to get. Now, I do know Tod Cutler's social media was talking about get it before it runs out, so I don't know if this is going to be a limited run thing or if it's just going to be something that is done in batches every now and then. So if you want it, don't spend 6 months thinking on it. Get it while you can. Like I said, stats again, blade is EN45 steel, so it is nice and sturdy, not the fanciest steel out there, but a nice, good, solid steel. Blade is 30.5 inches, 2 pounds, 5 ounces, runs for about 640 plus about half that for shipping and customs in the US, which is about 580 pounds in the UK. Definitely one to check out. I will be using this sword as soon as I figure out how I am going to manage that belt rigging system, if I can modify what's already there somehow, or if I just want to remove that and tie it up myself. Yeah, this is a great sword. It is very, very historically authentic, which you're not usually going to find ones that are this accurate and this solidly made until you're looking at ones that are a lot pricier than this is. So check it out and have a great day.